1. I overhear third grade girls discuss how Michael Jackson, quote, used tape to get his nose up like that. And, quote, Kennedy's brains flew across the car seat when his head exploded, unquote. Contemporary society clings to a nostalgia about childhood that is reassuring but inconsistent. The young artists inhabit a culture that portrays children both as objects of desire and as innocent youth. Evident in the public schools' resistance to enter discussions with children on popular culture, the broad nature of diversity, political and social practices. Perhaps the oppositional tension between the mixed cultural messages intertwined with obedience to authority, an intoxicating media blitz, and peer acceptance sets a climate for this preoccupation with violent imagery. 2. As the residue of visual culture infiltrates the daily lives of the students, the artificial and the natural, the crisis and the humdrum, the predictable and the freakish, the pedantic and the random, teaching must begin to engage with what happens outside the classroom. The boys' drawn and dramatic enactments of, or art of the present moment, acts as a critique of violence and excess that they have witnessed through a plethora of media. The boys' performance and drawings are recreations emerging from a desire to know. By recreating, re-envisioning from scraps of memory, meanings can be made clear. The boys' garish and terror-filled reenactments deconstruct the instability of the media's portrayal of violence, mortality, sex, death, revenge, and excess. In the boys' merger of aesthetics and memory, the slippage or a dislocation can be a site where the teacher listens, asks questions, and speaks in polyphonious voice, where dialogue begins. This liberating discourse enables both teachers and youth an opportunity for transformation. 3. 10 large ogres ripped my front door off the hinges. Their massive heads plow into the screen door first, and with little effort yank both screen and oak door off their frames to enter the house. The ogres pause and adjust their eyes to the interior light. A cloudy mucus drains from their noses and eyes. As the beasts wipe the discharge with the back of their palms, I notice long, thick, jagged fingernails packed with the grime of the day that when waved about will nick nostrils, lips, and the occasional eyelid. A thin coating of sack green slime coats several rows of tiny circular teeth. The razor-sharp incisors must never get brushed, hence the puffy infected gum line. The lips are swollen and split, from which dark red blood crests to lace the chin with pale pink rivulets. I'm trapped. There were 3 or 4 close enough to make my eyes swell. From the rancid fumes, every orifice seems ripe and shiny. Most creatures have clubs, and when they first burst in, their weapons circled above their heads. Their voices screeched with such a sound that I'm not sure if they were in pain or experiencing a moronic thrill. My brain no longer runs the show, and knowing the few options I have, my fear tears through valleys, hillsides, and dark, steamy swamps. My frantic thoughts run for miles past the snowy caves of Sasquatch, up the spiky trees where all the witches have ever lived, and deep into the tunnels of wet yellow clay and fat white earthworms as round as your arm and as long as your small and large intestines. At 10 feet tall and lopsided, the ogres take up a lot of space. They careen and stumble. I cannot avoid them. I creep to the kitchen. My hands shake as I struggle with the French press. The beasts won't let me out of their sight and hurry in after me, using their palms to slap bright yellow mayonnaise on dinner rolls. Some ogres crawl into the chairs around the dining room table. Others spread their legs and massage their thighs and clean their ears and belch, fart, and roar, showing dark purple tongues of serpents. From nowhere, 10 bowls of soup appear, which the ogres eat by cupping their fingers into serving spoons or laugh furiously. Sometimes the ogres slap each other hard across the face or shoulder. For 30 years, these ogres have come and gone. It's no wonder they act like they own the place.
Once upon a time, there were 2 Barbies. 8-year-old Annabeth is on the bedroom floor with a few Liv and Barbie dolls. Her 10-year-old friend and neighbor Alan is behind the flip video camera, making an impromptu recording of Annabeth's doll performance. Once upon a time, there were 2 Barbies. One was called Barbie Boobs, and the other was called Vanessa, begins Annabeth, animating 2 of her Barbie dolls. Barbie, with a crude nickname, Boobs, has a torn dress that reveals her naked chest, which Annabeth claimed her younger sister did to it when playing. They were gay until, she chuckles, a man called Kent came along. Annabeth enthusiastically tells the Ken doll to join in with the two Barbie girlfriends. She then makes the two Barbies kiss right in front of Ken. They were kissing, she laughs with delight, but then Vanessa threw down Barbie boobs and went out with Kent. As Annabeth is telling her story, Alan giggles behind the camera from time to time, but withholds himself from making comments. You know, that was caught on camera. He feels obligated to interject at this time. Annabeth's narrative is indeed quite risque as she ventures into the forbidden territory of the adult world. Alan worries about this crossing as he is conscious that the footage will be viewed by adults. Children's assertiveness, particularly with regard to their sexualities, often causes moral panic of lost childhood innocence. Yet children crave these forbidden cultural spaces, the spaces of liminality where their identities exist in constant flux, escaping fixed definitions. As Vanessa leaves her girlfriend and goes out with Kent, she demands that he carries her on his back. This is a Barbie way of loving each other, sarcastically narrates Annabeth. Frustrated, Kent then abandons Vanessa and ventures off to see his ex-girlfriend, the live doll in the live doll land, whom he also has to carry, this time in his hands. He then is caught in the vicious cycle of encounters with previous girlfriends, after which he abandons his current date and again goes out with an ex. The cycle repeats 3 times, until he meets Vanessa once more, and this time she wants to set things straight. "You've been cheating on me, bad boy," she yells, and fights with Kent, pushing him to the ground. So the 3 girls went out to dinner, continues Annabeth, until they saw Kent again, and can you guess what they did? In the next instant, Kent is brutally attacked and buried under the pile of Barbies and live dolls. "Ah, ah, ah, ah," playfully groans Alan behind his camera, empathizing with the male doll figure. But Annabeth persists. Then Barbie Boobs comes along again. "Can I join a tug-of-war gang?" "Sure, it's called Kill Kent." Bam, bam, bam. Annabeth is slamming Barbie Boobs against the pile of bodies until her dress slips down, exposing her naked plastic back. Kent was dead, and they did not go to the funeral. The end. Annabeth's provocative play blurs the normative boundaries between feminine and masculine and children and adults, and slips through the cracks of traditional doll narratives about romantic heterosexual dating. It is pleasurably and consciously staged and performed in front of the camera, and thereby disrupts the usually violent and objectifying act of gazing. It exists in a state of flux, as a constant moving in and out of the existing social order that enables exploration of multiple, complex, and ambiguous selves.
When June first saw my video camera, she playfully but boldly asked, "Can I use your video camera?" Then putting her hands together as if she were begging for something, she asked, "Please, please, please." When I permitted her to use the camera, she placed it on a tripod in front of her and searched for the recording button. She then clicked it. With a silly grin, she quickly stood in front of the camera, cheerfully introducing, "Hello, welcome to Dumb, Stupid Barbie Show." And as if she was a television anchor, she continued, "This is the stupid Barbie." Then she grabbed the long blonde hair of the doll in one hand and lifted it in front of the lens. Immediately, her friend Jeff pulled it away and took the Barbie's arm out to slap its head while grabbing a handful of Barbie hair to see her flashing pink earrings. While he did this, Barbie's own soundtrack, generated by pushing the button on her back, flowed into the air. "I'm a Barbie doll in a Barbie world. Life in plastic. It's fantastic. You can brush my hair and undress me everywhere. Imagination, life is your creation." The duo then immediately proceeded to inflict a series of brutalities on the duo. June took the Barbie back from Jeff and turned the doll upside down, yelling at Barbie, "You bad girl." Her pink, scanty miniskirt was flopped up and covering her butt. June mischievously made a flatulent sound. "Barbie, you fart. What a gross, so smelly, obnoxious." Laughing, she let her friends hit the Barbie with its amputated leg and arm. Her male friends laughing along with her as she ridiculed the doll. June's playful taunts intensified the physical brutishness. She yanked